Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. So today we learned that Volvo is the next domino to fall in adopting the North American charging standard, which marks the first European car maker to do so. Volvo did buy Polestar back in 2015 and then spun it off into its own brand in 2017. So nothing official yet, but I would assume that Polestar will also be adopting the NACS. From the press release, future Volvo cars starting from 2025 will be equipped with NACS. This will give access to 12,000 new fast charge ports. This figure is expected to grow as Tesla continues to expand the supercharger network. So far, all of the other automakers to adopt the NACS have mentioned this 12,000 figure as the number of the supercharger network plugs they'll have access to. But remember, Tesla has about 19,000 plugs in North America, so really these other automakers are only getting access to about 63% of Tesla's current supercharging network. Which begs the question, will all future supercharger locations be open to all of these other companies, or will it only be select locations? Volvo cars will not have a NACS port until 2025, but starting in the first half of next year, there will be an adapter available. Speaking of adapters, for any Volvo customers that want to continue using CCS chargers after 2025, Volvo will provide an adapter for CCS charging. And they said Volvo customers will get real-time information on availability of chargers. That access, of course, has to come from Tesla and pay for their charging session through one single interface. So Elon continually walking down the Reaper hallway. We also have the Society of Automotive Engineers International saying today it's going to standardize the Tesla NACS charging connector for EVs. If you're new, yes, Tesla dubbed its own charging standard the North American Charging Standard without actually being a standard. The society said this will provide certainty, expanded choice, reliability, and convenience to manufacturers and suppliers, and most of all, increase access to charging for consumers. The SAE standardization process is intended to assure reliable and consistent performance for any EV model or charging network. So basically their process is redundant because the supercharger network already is these things. Some more good news, the SAE NACS connector standard will be developed on an expedited time frame. This will also contribute to a charger reliability design for the National ChargeX Consortium, of which companies like Ford, GM, Stellantis, BMW, Electrify America, ChargePoint, and EVgo are members of. Ordinarily, these standards committees can add some bureaucracy and red tape and slow things down, but hopefully because the NACS is already so good, all they really need to do is codify it the way it is and lock everything in so everybody has more certainty on what it will look like going forward. Basically, these standards will govern how the plugs connect with charging stations. They'll go over cybersecurity measures, charging speeds, and reliability requirements. To alleviate some of those bureaucracy fears, the president of the SAE's parent company said Tesla and industry engineers are working on the standards in partnership. And he said the automakers and consumers won't have to pay royalties to Tesla, but EV owners will need to pay Tesla to charge on the network. About 2 weeks ago, we heard that ChargePoint was going to adopt the NACS, and fast forward to today, they're already announcing the availability of the NACS connector for new orders. ChargePoint's DC line or fast charging line can be sold or can be reconfigured with the NACS connector options later this year, and the ChargePoint mobile app currently includes personal location filters for NACS. In case you're not familiar with ChargePoint, they're one of the largest charging operators in the United States, but they're mostly level 2 chargers so far. As mentioned though, they do have some DC fast charging things in the works as well. Kyle from Out of Spec did a great review on ChargePoint and their technology. I'll link it below if you want to check it out. And in the event I were to have Kyle on the channel to talk about electric vehicles and charging and all of that, let me know below what you would want to hear about. I want to give a major hat tip to Nikhil and Alexandra, Tesla Boomer Mama, and everybody out there that went to test the Crooks Corner stop sign, the Dan O'Dowd situation. Here's the latest news. The speed limit on this road is 35 miles per hour, and Nikhil ran this test at 35 miles per hour. Here are the results.
On the brakes, ready to go. If there's any other situation. Stop sign and A perfect stop at the speed limit.
As you saw, the navigation was set to go straight through the intersection, and there was no car ahead of Nikhil that would have helped the FSD Beta stop, so in this instance, it saw the stop sign, stopped at the line, all is well. So whether Tesla tweaked something on the back end or the car learned on its own, either way, in the long run, as I said on Twitter, Dan O'Dowd really is actually helping Tesla solve FSD even faster than they would otherwise without his help. So thanks, Danny. We have the Department of Transportation that just awarded about $1.5 billion for transit agencies and state and local governments to buy electric and low emission buses. If you missed it last time and you're wondering how I've aggregated 63 different news sources all reporting on this same topic, and I'm getting the data of which of those reporting agencies are left-leaning, right-leaning, and center. Many of you were into this the last time I shared it, so I just wanted to go over a few more features from a new sponsor of the channel, Ground News. If you're watching internationally, Ground News has you covered. At the top right of your dashboard, you can choose your locale. What Ground News does is for every store, you get a quick visual breakdown of the news outlets that are covering that topic, their political bias, how factual the source is, which entity owns the source, and which countries are covering the story. So in a matter of seconds, you can see all of the left, center, and right-leaning articles and the headlines along with a quick summary of that article. Ground News was developed by a former NASA engineer, and yes, there is a mobile app with all of the same features as well as a browser extension that will give you the Ground News data right at the top of your browser. Ground News also integrates seamlessly with Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit. And what's great for a community like ours is you can search specific topics, see all of the articles related to that topic, and you can follow a certain topic to get updates on it in real time. I have to say, this blind spot feature alone has really opened my eyes to the difference in reporting of each political ideology. So if you want to quickly see what the other side is reporting on and how they're doing it, this feature is incredible. For me, Ground News has made staying informed much more enjoyable, more efficient, and I have a lot more clarity on what's actually going on. So you can head to ground.news/electrified linked below to stay informed on breaking news, compare coverage across the aisle, and avoid media bias. You can sign up for free using my link, or you can get 30% off for unlimited access if you'd like to support the mission like I do. Enjoy. We also have Yashu from Hit That Bid finding today that it appears Tesla has indeed started advertising. Unless someone is mimicking Tesla Inc., then Tesla has begun running some paid ads on Google AdWords. It looks like so far there are around 18 ads being ran in the United States, and of course I'm still hopeful that Tesla will create some custom ad copy, maybe run some FUD fighting videos on social media, but for now this is definitely at least a start. It appears as though Tesla is currently running ads in the United States and the UK. If you're not familiar with Google AdWords, this should be a very low-cost way for Tesla to target its ad spend, and of course online they have all of that data in real time. I do feel compelled to mention there's at least a non-zero chance that somebody out there is running an elaborate scam trying to funnel a bunch of people through their referral links, but this could also definitely be right from Tesla. And if I had to guess, I would definitely guess the latter. We got the latest weekly insured data for Tesla China, that number 16,700. And just a quick reminder on YouTube Mobile, you can actually zoom in on YouTube videos. So plugging that data into the table, if you wanted to compare it to the same week in Q1, that number was 15,886. From week 1 Q1 to week 12 Q1, the total was 122.7 thousand. And from week 1 to week 12 in Q2, we currently sit at 141.9 thousand. The current record for quarterly domestic deliveries in China for Tesla is 137.5 thousand. So yes, we have set a new record quarter for domestic deliveries in China. And honestly, given all of the economic challenges in China right now, to some degree, this is really all you can ask for. We have Holmar saying FSD Beta 12 may be later this year, to which Elon said version 12 won't be beta. I could go on and on speculating here, but for now I just want to highlight two things. Number one, Elon didn't deny this quote about FSD12 being maybe later this year. But let's add a little extension for Elon time and we'll call it first half of 2024. Maybe. But the second thing that I would be fairly confident in saying is that given that it won't be a beta means essentially it would be feature complete. So the deferred revenue aspect that we've been used to when customers purchase full self-driving may actually go away, meaning Tesla can start to immediately recognize 100% of that revenue. But honestly, let the questions fly. Could this mean Tesla might be ready to apply for level 3 autonomy? Level 4? We'll see. And yes, I know that right now it's not ready. I've seen all of the clips where it does things wrong. I'm well aware of that fact. I would just remind people that a lot can happen in 1 year. For evidence of my claims, I would just refer you to this chart. 1 year would put us about right here. I'm pleased to share that the white interior option has now been brought back for the base all-wheel drive Model Y and is available across all Model Y configurations. As time goes on, Volkswagen seems to find itself with more and more problems. According to the Works Council, VW has temporarily reduced the production of electric cars at its Emden plant in Germany. The reason? Weakening sales. Demand is almost 30% below the original planned production figures. So for the next 2 weeks, the late shift for production of the ID4 and the first models of the ID7 will be canceled. Then they have 3-week plant holidays are also expected to be extended by 1 week for workers in the electric segment, and 300 of the current 1,500 temporary workers in Emden will not be kept on as of August. A Works Council member said customer reticence, fear, trepidation is being felt quite vehemently in the electrical world. A VW spokesperson said, "We're confident the utilization of the plant will increase again with the market launch of the ID7 at the end of the year." Simultaneously, we learned that ID4 exports from Germany to the United States, those are done because ID4 production has started in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And we have a Minister of Economics who also sits on VW's supervisory board saying it's a warning signal for the industry. The registration figures for electric cars remain high, but what we're concerned about is the current dip in demand, and not just at VW, but all manufacturers. And I'm guessing here, but maybe some of the uncertainty or weaker demand is from Germany dropping the EV purchase subsidies that have started their phase-out program at the beginning of this year. We heard about this last week, but the plans are moving forward. Ford with its latest round of layoffs to try to save money for the transition to EVs. Ford planning to lay off at least 1,000 salaried employees and contract workers in North America. The layoffs are concentrated in the engineering ranks. This round of layoffs includes employees from Ford's EV and software side of the business, but also will affect workers in the gas engine and commercial vehicle divisions. So all 3 of Ford's divisions, Model E, Blue, and Pro, will all be impacted. This coming just weeks ahead of the scheduled start of negotiations with the United Auto Workers Union over a new 4-year labor contract that analysts are saying has a higher than usual risk of a strike. And what should come as a surprise to no one who's been paying attention, Lordstown files for bankruptcy and also is suing Foxconn, pointing the finger. And I know I say it all the time, but looking at the last few news items, just a reminder that it's almost like building these electric vehicles is not as easy as all of the Wall Street analysts thought. So now Lordstown is up for sale after failing to resolve a dispute over a promised investment from Taiwan's Foxconn. And the chairman of a hedge fund is even saying the bankruptcy of Lordstown signals the days of successful EV startups are in the rear view mirror. Moving forward, it'll be Tesla and the traditional incumbents that will duke it out for market share. And don't get what I'm about to say twisted. I'm not at all comparing Rivian and Lucid to Lordstown. But what I've said before, and I'll say again, is there really are no guarantees that companies like Rivian and Lucid are around 10 years from now. Remember how long it took Tesla to become profitable and how close even Tesla was to not making it. Personally, I think Rivian has a better chance than Lucid, but the truth is they're not out of the woods. I'm not going to read you the comments here, so read them on your own if you want to, and I promise you, I'm not at all coming at this with any political leanings. I just think it's kind of funny how less than 2 years ago, At an event where Trump was pumping up Lordstown Motors, he had these comments to say, being really fired up that Lordstown had motors at each wheel. If you ever hear the kids saying he's out of pocket, this would be a good example of that. And let's not forget GM's investing prowess when it comes to finding EV talent. GM invested in both Lordstown Motors and Nikola Motors. This video is older, but if you're in the camp thinking Tesla forgot about the middle brake light, I wouldn't be. Let's just wait for production. We'll see what we'll see. And with all of the nonsense around mainstream media, that will undoubtedly get worse as the revenue continues to plummet. Don't forget to check out Ground News linked below. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video if you did, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.